And good afternoon. I know I'm a minute late. It's been busy around here today, and sometimes appointments just take a little bit longer. So thank you for waiting on me. Today is Friday. It's time for our Lunch and Learn, and I am your hostess, Dr. Polly Heil-Mealey with Abundant Health and Wellness. Now, we are a holistic clinic downtown Humble, and that is Main Street and Avenue C in Humble, Texas. So if you guys ever come this way, come by and see me and say hi. Today we're going to talk about our body and its amazing ability to self-heal, but how we sabotage that healing, okay? So there's a lot to go through, and some of these articles that I'm pulling together are from a couple of years ago, but some of them are really, really current. So this is what we need to understand, is that our body, if you give your body what it needs, your body has the ability to heal. And so there is a medical researcher and philosopher, Dr. Jeremy Howick, okay, Howick, if you want to kind of Google him. He says that modern medicine has clearly benefited our lives, but we've lost touch with how to determine the proper dose of it. We have developed effective treatments for diseases that killed mercilessly in the past, but now we suffer from a new problem, and that is too much medication. And I would wholeheartedly agree with that. He's got a new book called Dr. You, Introducing the Hard Science of Self-Healing. So if you want to go out and get that book, if you're interested in staying well, his basic premise is that you are your own best doctor. And I happen to agree with that. Even though if you were in my office and you looked at my wall over there, you see that I have certificate after certificate after certificate of courses I've done, studies I've done. So I'm very, very well qualified and well degreed as far as education. But I don't know more than you do about your own body. So I always listen to what you say, always take into account of what you say, because you are your own best doctor. So the name of the book is Dr. You. And it says that we have the ability to learn how to tap into the body's resources to heal ourselves. And I think that that is the very best thing in the whole world. It says the concept of the body as a self-healing organism is not new. In fact, it's been around as long as people have been treating illnesses. Ancient doctors from around the world noted that if given enough time and support, the body will often correct itself. And that is true, okay? Along with the miraculous cures that emerged in the 20th century, has come an expectation that there must be a pill for every ill, or there may soon be one given enough research and funding. And so that really is the expectation. I remember, for those of you that don't know my personal story, my first husband died in 1999, and God blessed me with a second husband in 2003. And when I married him, he was on some medication, and I said, why are you on this medication? He said, well, because I can eat whatever I want and I'm fine. And it was like, no, wrong attitude. You see, I lost my first husband because I didn't understand holistic medicine, and I didn't know that his body would be able to heal itself if we gave it some time to heal itself. And so we went the allopathic route, and he was over-radiated, and he died of radiation poisoning. And so after that, I began to really seek and look high and low to find out, what did we not know? What could we have done differently? And as I learned that medication is pretty much full of petroleum products. And I am not sick because I have a deficit of petroleum products in my body. I'm just going to throw that out there. And so I can really confirm what this doc says, that people believe that if they take a pill, they're going to get better. Now, this is because our healthcare system trains us this way. We go into the doctor, we tell him we've got these different symptoms. He says, okay, we're going to label it this, and this is the drug for that. And so the drugs go in, they suppress the symptom, we feel better, and we think we are healed. We're not really any better, but we don't hurt or we don't have the symptom because that has been suppressed. At the core level, whatever was wrong is still wrong. and it's going to come forward in another symptom if we're not careful, okay? So this expectation of there is a pill for every ill has produced incredible cures, but it has also warped our understanding of what it means to be healthy. Today, 20% of Americans take at least 5 prescription drugs per day, often with little understanding or oversight about how these drugs interact with each other. And I will just tell you this, I was doing some research this morning. I'm doing a presentation for IPA, that is the International Iridology Practitioners Association. They asked me to be part of their summit this year, and so I'm putting together a presentation. And one of the patients that I'm giving a case study for was on, I think, 14 different medications with 38 different interactions, negative interactions between the prescriptions. So she was very, very sick. Part of the reason she was sick is because of the medication she was taking, and we gave her the printout to take to her doctor, and her doctor was able to adjust the medications based on that. Unfortunately, the doctors don't do that drug checker, and you can do that. Anybody can do that. You can go on WebMD, you can go on Medscape, you can do any kind of these free resources that we have because we have the internet. Some of them you have to log on, you have to have a sign-in, you don't have to be a professional. You can just be a layperson, and you can go to these websites, and they've got something called a drug interaction checker. And you can put in all your medications, and you can see if your medications are fighting each other. And a lot of times they are, almost every time. It's been the rare case when I've run the prescriptions through the drug analysis that I have found a patient that was taking the right things and not having any negative consequences from that. That's what I'm looking for. All right, medical error now ranks as the 3rd most likely cause of death in the United States. Fatal prescription errors kill more than 100,000 Americans annually. That's a lot of people. Prescription drugs are killers because of the interactions, and people are not closely monitored, and so they may take them at the wrong time, they may take something else with them, and all that kind of thing. So it's really, really important. Drug researchers look at the body's ability to self-heal more as a statistical annoyance than a blessing. In order to deem a drug effective, the trials have to prove that the drug outperforms the placebo effect. The placebo effect shows that even when a patient takes fake drugs, their symptoms often improve. Now, I had a student write to me. She's doing a paper for a university, and she wanted me to be an expert, which I'm very honored. She wanted me to be an expert. And she asked me, she said, how do you know that the herbs are doing their job and it's not just a placebo effect? And I said, there probably is a lot of placebo effect. If you want something to work, if you are told by someone you trust that something will work, guess what? It's probably going to work because your faith makes it happen. I'm not talking about Jesus' faith, although I do believe in Jesus' faith. If you know me, you know that I believe that. But just faith in another human being that you respect and that is a mentor to you, or you respect their degrees or whatever, you believe what they're going to say, and there is a placebo effect, but there's also a placebo effect in the drugs as well. This guy goes on to even say that there were some people that had fake surgeries. Now, I'm not really sure what that means other than they had a scar to prove that they had been under the knife, but really the doctor didn't do anything. And I think 90% of them reported that they felt better, even in the placebo group. So that's just kind of crazy. You would think if it was bad enough that you had to have surgery, that if you had a fake surgery, you wouldn't have any benefit, but it's in the paper here. All right. The placebo effect demonstrates how our minds and bodies are naturally bent toward healing. Okay? No deception necessary. In a 2016 study, so this is recent, 2016 study from the Harvard Medical School, researchers discovered that even when the patients were told they were taking a placebo, the ritual of having it prescribed by a real doctor still resulted in significant improvement in back pain. So that's kind of just crazy. I just don't understand how that's working, but it does work. Okay, the placebo effect is not merely a trick of the mind. It taps into what Howick calls our inner pharmacy, chemicals with drug-like effects that are naturally produced inside our bodies, okay? Becoming conscious of our inner pharmacy may make it more effective. One study looked, the preoperative patients examined on how much of an impact such insight had on painkiller use. Researchers educated half the patients about endorphins, the body's own pain-killing chemicals, while the other patients received no such education. After the operations, everyone in the non-educated group filled their prescription painkillers, while only 10% of the educated group opted for drugs. So, our inner pharmacy can be stimulated merely by suggestion. So if this is true, why isn't more done through the self-healing mechanism? Howick believes it is primarily an issue of profit. The medical industry sees healing potential, not just the market potential. And I think that's really, really correct here. It says diets and exercise are well-established strategies for improving our health, but there are many other things that we can do to influence our well-being. We can keep close friends, have gratitude, and cultivate a positive outlook. Perhaps part of us has always known that such behaviors are good for us, but recently science is bringing clarity to their therapeutic value. Now, there are some statistics that say that people who are loners, people who are isolated physically, isolated emotionally, they don't live as long, they don't live as happy lives because they don't have those factors in there. So just want to, from this article, just say, we have got an inner pharmacy that can bring you relief, and we have to tap into this. Now, what do we do that sabotages that? So I want to talk about that today because this is part of, all of us are on a journey. All of us are on a journey to health, and we take one step forward, and sometimes we take two steps back, and that's what I want us to get away from. I want us to keep moving from strength to strength so that we can continue to be our best healthy self, and we can live life to the fullest, okay? So how do we sabotage this self-healing potential? Well, we do it through flour and sugar products. Now, I know if you have been listening to me forever, this is not something that's new to you, but people don't understand that flour products here in the United States particularly are very, very contaminated with glyphosate. Now, why is that? That is because in our industrial farming, the fields are sprayed not once, but twice with glyphosate in order to facilitate the harvesting. Now, it does make the plant shrivel up and pop that kernel out, so the combine that comes by, the harvester that comes by, can pick up more and more of the grain, so the farmer gets a better yield on his crop. And I appreciate that, and I'm all about that, and I want everybody to make a lot of money. But the kernels that you're getting are infused with the glyphosate, and so even though they're processed and the germ layer is removed, remember, a lot of those seeds are GMO seeds, genetically modified seeds that have the herbicide and pesticide in them, and so you're getting it that way as well. So because our grain products here in the United States are covered with this heavy metal pesticide, it eats up our gut, and it makes us where we're not able to process that. So I'm just giving you some history on that. So one of the first transitions people make when getting healthy is to clean up their grain intake by going organic and avoiding gluten. This is often followed by avoiding white sugar and replacing it with more desirable sweeteners like coconut sugar or cane sugar. Although these are good practices and a step in the right direction, they also often serve as permanent roadblocks to true health. Consuming flour products and sugar on a regular basis is a big mistake. when trying to overcome health issues, regardless of the upgrade. So even when you're doing organic, even when you're doing the better sugars, you're still sabotaging your health because of the way they're processed, okay? The upgrades may eliminate some of your immediate symptoms, but they will never lead you back to true health as long as you continue to consume them on a daily basis or even a weekly basis. Now, I'll just tell you, I'm pretty much gluten-free. We don't do anything in a box or a package, and I'm very, very careful to how much gluten I choose to eat, okay? So does that mean I never eat bread? No, it doesn't mean I never eat bread, but it means I eat bread very, very seldomly and certainly never more than twice in a week. And usually I don't even eat it weekly, okay? So I'm just real careful about that. And as far as sugar, I sweeten things that I have to sweeten with honey. I don't use any sugar. I don't use any of the other sugar substitutes. I just say, no, just don't do it. The only, just to be real honest, if I have a cup of hot tea, I will have real cane sugar in it, but I haven't had a cup of hot tea probably in 2 years. So just gonna throw that out there. Why is that? Because it's too dang hot here in Texas. So when I live in England, I have a lot of hot tea because it's cold over there and I enjoy it. But anyway, as of right now, living in Texas, no, we don't have a lot of hot tea. Flour in any format is devoid of enzymes, probiotics, and other nutrients that facilitate proper digestion. Sugar is no different. Both encourage and feed intestinal problems that have not been fully cleaned up, and the resulting compromised gut function will always leave your old health problems festering rather than getting you truly well. Now, I just want to say, we do here at the clinic, we do a protocol called Thrive in 63, and you have to get rid of all the grains and all the sugar for 63 days, and it really helps reset the gut microbiome, and it's been very, very successful. So if that's something that interests you, you can come by and we can help you out with that. So a lot of times when people are doing an upgrade on their nutrition, they're going to substitute fruits at the expense of vegetables. And we do say eat every color of the rainbow every day. And we do say you need 4 to 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. That's what we tell you, okay? So one of the best transitions that you can make is to increase your fresh, green, healthy, local produce. It's rich in enzymes, probiotics, minerals, and vitamins, and other nutrients that you need. However, more people than not up their fruit at the expense of their vegetables. And why is that? Because fruits have natural sugar, and that natural sugar is what your body's going for because it's been used to the negative white stuff that we're all trying to get away from. So it's real easy to upgrade our fruit, but not so much on our vegetables. So the guy goes on to say fruit is certainly a way to start incorporating more whole foods in the diet, but don't do it at the expense of vegetables. Most fruit is high sugar content, which feeds systemic infections like candida. Feeding this condition with any level of sugar, natural or not, will continue to feed it. Now, if you stick out your tongue and your tongue is white, you have systemic candida. If you've got gnarly toenails, they're thick, they're yellow, they've got ridges on them, then you've got a systemic fungal infection. Of course, there's all kinds of, there's thrush, there's jock itch, there's all these kind of athlete's foot. All of that is about too much sugar in the system and too much of a fungal overgrowth. So when we're getting healthy, we want to definitely limit those foods if we've got those challenges, okay? Vegetables do not have a lot of sugar. It says this ensures that you do not feed the underlying infections, and it is estimated that 80% of the population has a candida overgrowth to some degree, and 90% of the population, now this is 90% of the population, has parasites. So parasites feed in your gut. If your gut is not balanced, then you're going to have these issues. So we want you to eat fruit, we certainly do, but we don't want you consuming too many fruits and not enough vegetables, okay? So the third error that people make when they sabotage their diets is they focus too much on supplements and not on quality food. Now, I'm just going to tell you, budgets are tight. People are trying to do good for themselves, and they're buying the cheapest form of supplements that you can buy. And this is just not good. Like I told a lady the other day, I'd rather you not buy anything than to buy garbage products. So how are you going to know it's a garbage product? You're going to know it's a garbage product when you get it 2 for $1. You're going to know it's a garbage product when it costs you less than 5 cents a day to take it. You're worth more than that. I was listening to my good friend Kathy Norris last night. She was doing a webinar on vitamins, and she was talking about synthetic vitamins versus whole food vitamins. And she was giving a cost per day, and with a synthetic, I think it was Centrum is what she was talking about. I think it's like 2 cents a day. And with a healthy vitamin, I think she was talking about Natural Factors. I think that may not have, New Chapter was the brand she was talking about. She was saying it's more like $2 a day. And so really, you're worth the $2 a day. You're not a synthetic person. You're not a synthetic organism. You need the good stuff, and you're worth it, okay? So there are people that will just eat, garbage food, and they'll supplement, and they think that they're doing a good job. And really that is antithetical to what you need to be doing. You need to buy the best food that you can have, that you can afford, because Hippocrates said, let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food, okay? So we want to make sure that we do have good food, but I will just tell you, here in the United States, our food is not nutritionally dense. So we do recommend that you do supplement with a multi-mineral, multivitamin. So we have different brands here. We've got practitioner-only brands. And we've got one multi-level marketing, which Genesis Pure, I like their products. And so my vitamin of choice most of the time will be their Daily Build. It is in a capsule form, but it's also in a liquid form, and that's the one that I'm taking. I take most of the time. And then we also recommend Biotics formulas, and they've got a woman's vitamin, which I absolutely love. It's got all of your glandulars for your endocrine system, so it feeds your thyroid, your adrenal, your uterus, your breasts, all those kind of things that we women need because we've had children, and we carry our children with us even after they're full grown, and life is stressful. And so we recommend those vitamins. And I definitely recommend, even though you are doing good organic food, the food is not as nutritionally dense as we need. So we do recommend vitamins. Now, of course, to be quite frank, we have a holistic healthcare clinic, and if I took you into the lobby, you would see rows and rows of different supplements and homeopathic medicines and that kind of thing. Now, it is not my desire for you to be on vitamins and supplements the rest of your life. One of the things that you have to look for when you're buying your vitamins and your supplements is, do they have the cofactors? Now, vitamins are found in whole foods, not the store, the actual foods that we eat. And they are found in a conglomeration because they have the cofactors that make them work, to make them absorb. And so what you're going to find here is that all of our supplements and all of our vitamins have all of the cofactors in them to make them easily absorbed. And so once they get in the body, they raise your vibratory frequency, they fill in the nutrient deficiencies, then you're not going to need them for the rest of your life, okay? So we don't want you to be doing that. Okay, Karen's asking me a question. Are 2 tablespoons of chia seeds a day a good calcium source for a non-dairy diet? Yes, ma'am. Is that all you need? Probably not, because you need to have calcium and magnesium. You need boron. You need manganese. You need a lot of cofactors. So just make sure that you've got your cofactors as well, okay? So produce is a great way of getting healthy, but you need to steer clear of the sugars. We talked about that. Okay, so we're back on the supplements here. It says, unfortunately, people fall into the supplement trap and begin chasing symptoms, end up buying dozens of supplements with often little or no consideration of the fundamental aspect of what is required in order to get healthy. And yes, that is right. up my alley. So this is the thing. We have people that come in here all the time with bags and baskets of herbs that they have bought off the internet, or they've gone and they've done their own Googling and they've gone and done that and they don't feel any better. Why is that? Because they're not having the tools to find out what is the underlying problem, get to the underlying problem so that you can get the issue resolved. So I wholeheartedly agree that we do need supplements, but you also need a professional to guide you through that so that you are able to move forward on that. Okay. I got my pages all mixed up, so you'll have to just forgive me a minute. It says, when becoming healthy, one must first focus on proper food for the body first, and then supplement with therapeutic nutrition second. This does not mean that supplementation is not effective or important for many people dealing with acute or chronic health issues, but it needs to drop down the hierarchy under diet and other important factors such as lifestyle factors to create a foundation for good health. And that's exactly what we're talking about. We get you in balance, we get that foundation resolved, okay? So obsession with protein. This is another thing. Lots of people are out there selling protein powders, protein drinks, all that kind of stuff. Protein is very, very important, but there are other things that you need. You need complete proteins. You need proteins that have all of the amino acids out there. Now, you're going to ask me what I recommend. I recommend Dr. Axe's bone broth protein. Now, why do I recommend that? Because it has, if I remember right, it's got all 22 amino acids out there. You need those amino acids in the body to create all of the enzymes that you need so that you can perform all of the chemical little things that you need to do that are inside. If you do not have complete proteins, if you do not have all of your amino acids, then you've got some problems. Now, we've got DNA hair testing here that you can come in, we can take 4 hairs, we can send it to the lab, and we will know what amino acids you are missing, okay? We also do the cheek swab for DNA as well to find out where your SNPs are when you're not able to process these things. So these things are really, really important to get to the core of your nutritional issues. And then the last thing, I think it's the last thing she talks about, is exercising excessively. Now, we all know those gym rats that go and spend 3 hours in the gym every day. I think that's a little bit excessive. Most people, if they went to the gym 2 or 3 times a week for an hour or 30 minutes, they'd be just fine. Okay, so I'm not into excessive exercising. I did find out I'm always doing courses, guys. I'm just always learning things. But I found out yesterday that women, primarily their neurotransmitter that keeps us going is serotonin. Men, the neurotransmitter that keeps them going is dopamine. Serotonin is more plentiful in the morning, whereas dopamine is more plentiful in the evening. And so if a woman exercises at night or late in the afternoon, she's going to have sleep issues, and a guy just doesn't have the energy to exercise in the mornings in most cases. So the best time to exercise for a woman is earlier in the day. The best time to exercise for a man is later in the day. So I guess you didn't know I was going to tell you that, did you? Okay. So exercising is important. Let's see. If you exercise excessively, you will need to ensure that your diet is strong and that it doesn't start and end with a protein shake for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Fundamentally, you need to be eating a nutrient-rich diet, as your excessive exercise burns off nutrients that need to be replaced. Exercising for the sole purpose of calorie exchange is not a wise decision for your health, and eventually leads to a dead-end road in terms of any significant health benefits. If you choose to exercise, start in moderation, especially if you are new to it and you are living a whole, healthy lifestyle. Okay, walking, like jogging, weightlifting, and rebounding are good starts. Make movement part of your everyday routine and try to increase it a little bit every week. So we are healthy. Our natural tendency is to be healthy, but we have to believe that is so. And some of us have been so knocked about by the challenges of life that we just don't think that we've got it in us anymore to be healthy. But I'm telling you, you can turn on that internal pharmacy, and you can get well, and you can stay well without the help of drugs. So I just want you to go forth and think about this. Think about what you can do to make your lifestyle just a little bit more healthy. Karen says, did the protein powder replace the chicken? No, it does not. No, I still want you to eat healthy protein. I want you to eat healthy meat. If you listen to my podcast, you know that I do not believe in a vegetarian diet. I believe that you should have good fruit, good vegetables, and good meat, good organic products. But I believe you should eat from all of the food groups, okay? I don't think you should ignore any of the food groups. We do limit our gluten, we limit the sugar, but we do have healthy grains as appropriate. So no, I do not believe in replacing your protein with protein shakes, but if you need help with your enzymes, if you need help with your amino acids, then a protein shake is a good supplement. So I'm about out of time. It is the weekend. I want you guys to enjoy the weekend. I know it's back to school and people are kind of running around crazy. I know I would be if I had children, but mine are all fully grown, so I'm exempt from all this. So I'm intending to have a nice laid back weekend, and I will see you again next Friday. Thank you so much for honoring me with your presence, and share and let everybody know that we do this. Thank you so much. Take care.